Hare Krishna. In our series of spiritual trip in Vrindavan, 2023 December it took that, we are covering different Gauriya Vaishnava temples or seven Goswami temples. Today's topic of discussion is Radha Shyamsundar Mandir. The temple of Radha Shyamsundar is one of the seven Goswami temples of Vrindavan and was established by Shyamananda Pandit Goswami during the course of his second visit to Vrindavan. Although he was not one of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, he is counted amongst the most famous Gauriya Goswamis who were important followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The large deity of Lord Shyamsundar, presently worshipped in the temple, was installed by Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan during his period of his stay in Vrindavan during the late 17th century, when he reorganized the temple's deity worship in accordance with the standards of Archana Marga instituted by six Goswamis. The smaller deity of Lord Shyamsundar is said to be the deity given as a gift to Shyamsundar Pandit by Śrimati Rādhārāni herself. Shyamananda Pandit, who was previously known as Duki, received Diksha from one of Lord Chaitanya's personal associate named Hriday Chaitanya, who hailed from the town of Ambika Kalna of West Bengal. And after his Diksha, he was known as Krishna Dasa and remained at Ambika Kalna studying under his Guru. As there were many devotees called Krishna Dasa, he was known as Duki Krishna Dasa, because Duki Krishna Dasa showed signs that he could become a great Vaishnava scholar and preacher. His Guru decided to send him to Vrindavan to study under guidance of Srila Jiva Goswami. There is a story how this deity was given to Shyamananda Pandit by Radharani herself. One day, while sweeping the area around Sheva Kunja, Shyamananda Pandit found a golden ankle bell, which is called Nupur in Hindi, lying on the ground. The anklet shone very brightly, and after picking it up, he was overcome with ecstatic emotion and began to cry. He concluded that the anklet must belong to one of the gopis, or maybe even Śrimati Rādhārāni herself. He carefully wrapped the anklet in his cloth and became consumed in thoughts of Krishna's pastime. Sometime later, a young village girl approached him and asked if he had found a golden anklet that had been lost by her sister in Shevakunja. Duki Krishnadasa informed that girl that he had indeed found an anklet lying on the ground. The girl then asked him to give it to her, and she would return to her sister. Duki Krishnadasa told the girl that as he was the one who found the anklet, he would personally like to hand it over to himself. The girl, who was actually Radharani's close companion, Lalita Sakhi, who was disguised as a village maiden, agreed and guided Shyamananda to Lalita Kundo in the center of Shevakunja. She then told him that if he wanted to meet her sister, he would first have to bathe in the sacred Kundo. Shyamananda immediately bathed in the Kundo, and on coming out of the water, he saw that his form had completely changed into that of a young girl. Shyamananda was then taken to a nearby grove, where he suddenly saw, seated on a jewel-encrusted golden throne and surrounded by hundreds of her intimate girlfriends, the exquisitely beautiful form of Śrimati Rādhārāni. Radharani signaled for him to come forward, and after offering his prostrated obeisances before her, he handed her the golden anklet. Taking the anklet, Radharani thanked him for his wonderful service of daily sweeping her beloved Sevakunja. She then touched the anklet to his forehead, which left a special tilaka mark on his forehead. Shyamananda's name until then was Duki Krishnadasa, so Radharani gave him the name Shyamananda, meaning one who gives pleasure to Shyamsunder. The name can mean one which gives pleasure to Shyamsunder, which is also Shama is also a name of Radharani. Radha and Krishna are sometimes addressed as Shama Shama. She then gave the anklet to Shyamananda and asked him to personally place it on her ankle. After he had done this, Radharani asked Lalita Sakhi to present Shyamananda with the gift of a beautiful deity of Lord Shyamsunder for his personal worship. After offering Radharani his prostrated obeisances, Lalita Sakhi escorted him back to the place where she first met him. On his return, Shyamananda had regained his previous male form. Lalita Sakhi then requested Shyamananda not to reveal this incident to anyone. The next day, Shyamananda was seen by Jiva Goswami and other students with a new tilaka mark, which was somewhat different to the regular Gauriya tilak mark we use. That night, in a dream, Lalita Sakhi appeared before Jiva and informed him of the circumstances surrounding the new tilaka mark and the name given to Duki Krishnadasa, but told him to say nothing. After some time, the news of Duki's name change and new tilaka mark reached the ears of Duki's guru, Hridaya Chaitanya in Bengal, who concluded that Jiva Goswami must have reinitiated his disciple. Hridaya Chaitanya became very disturbed, as reinitiation amounted to a very serious Vaishnava aparadh. Hridaya Chaitanya gathered his disciple and along with group of senior Vaishnavas immediately left for Vrindavana to challenge Jiva Goswami regarding the reinitiation of his disciple. On arrival in Vrindavan, a public meeting was arranged by Hridaya Chaitanya where Jiva Goswami was to be asked to explain the circumstances of Duki's reinitiation. As both Jiva Goswami and Duki Krishnadasa were sworn to secrecy, the situation was very tensed. That night, before the meeting, Lalita Sakhi again appeared in Jiva's dream and told him what he should do. When the meeting began, Jiva Goswami addressed the gathering, explaining that he had no part in the incident had transpired and definitely not reinitiated Duki Krishnadasa, saying the new name and tilaka was a divine arrangement. To prove the point, he requested Hridaya Chaitanya and his followers to wipe up the new tilaka mark from Duki's forehead, saying that if they could not remove the new tilaka mark, then they would have to accept that it was the divine will of the Lord. A senior few Vaishnavas from Hridaya Chaitanya's group came forward, but when they tried to remove the tilaka mark from Duki's head, no matter how hard they tried, it could not be removed. Hridaya Chaitanya then understood that this was a divine arrangement. After blessing his disciple and making humble submission before Jiva Goswami and the Vaishnavas of Vrindavana, he returned to Bengal with his party, fully satisfied that no Vaishnava aparadh has been committed. Even today, those in the disciplic line of Shyamananda Pandit still apply the same tilaka mark. It became quite common for the disciples of various Gauriya Goswamis to adopt minor variation to the standard Gauriya Vaishnava tilak, similar to the various tilaka mark that difference the four principal Vaishnava Sampradaya. The tilaka mark used by ISKCON devotees is the tilaka mark used by the disciplic succession originating from Srila Rupa Goswami. Therefore, Since then, the the temple which we are now seeing has been visited by Srinivas Acharya, Narottama Das, and they accepted Shyamananda Pandit as their younger brother. Even though he was a very learned Pandit coming from a very high caste family, he would take a broom and daily sweep the area around Sheva Kunj, place where Krishna once rendered personal service to Radharani and celebrated Rasolila pastime took place there. Therefore, the Shyamananda Pandit temple is also one of the very important and interesting temple. We can see the idol of Baldev Vidyabhushan and also Shyamananda Pandit there, and there is also a good amount of space where we could see and do our daily meditation. Hare Krishna.